Hey guys, welcome back to Mo's Game Table. Today we're going to take a look inside Live Free or Die, 3 Battles for America. This is a game designed by Carrie Anderson and published by Microgame Design Group. Just got this in the mail and I wanted to share a look inside with you. These are Ziploc games, so there is no back of the box, but I will give you the premise of the game. It says here, Live Free or Die is an alternate history simulation of battles associated with the communist invasion of the continental United States. Live Free or Die is a game set consisting of 3 independent games. Asian Invasion captures the People's Asian Alliance landings in California. Remember the Alamo covers the organization of Central American states, drive into Texas, and Southern Discomfort focuses on a Warsaw Pact invasion of Florida and Georgia. So pretty unique looks, and I wanted to check this out. Microgame Design Group has a bunch of really cool games, and I've covered some of them on the channel already, and I really have enjoyed them, and I think the quality of the production is fantastic, and the games, more importantly, are very, very fun. So let's take a look inside and see what you get. And the cover doubles as an air display for both the US and the communists, as well as serving as the game turn record track. Player aid card. Rule book, 2 sheets of counters, and 3 maps. So let's set up the maps and take a closer look at the game. And we'll take a look at the 3 maps individually. The first is for Southern Discomfort. We have Florida to the south, Georgia to the north. The borderline is this red dashed line here. In Florida, we have Tallahassee to the west, Jacksonville to the east. You can see urban and then very dense urban locations here. Supply routes, airfields. We have ports as well. And then up into Georgia, we go to Albany, Valdosta, and Waycross. And then we have the invasion routes right on the shoreline for the Warsaw Pact forces that will be making landfall in the United States. Then we've got, remember the Alamo, which is Texas. And as you can see, there's not a lot in Texas as far as land features, but there's plenty of natural gas and oil here in Texas. I know, I live here, so that's the way it is. Nuevo Laredo down to the south, and then San Antonio up to the north. Dense urban for San Antonio, and of course, that is where the Alamo is located. And then lastly, we have the Asian Invasion. You see the West Coast invasion routes here for the Asian forces that will be invading the U.S. You've got plenty of urban areas here. Oxnard, Santa Clarita, Los Angeles, Long Beach. You even got Disneyland marked on there. I think that's pretty cool. Riverside, Temecula, Escondido, and San Diego, as well as Irvine here. And then you go a little further inland, you have the desert area built up locations, Lancaster, Victorville, and then Palm Springs to contend with as the invader. And we'll take a look at the player aid card that comes with the game. On the front side, we have the CRT, bombardment results table, the unit legend, laser defense fire, and U.S. reinforcements table. Then on the reverse side, we have the terrain effects chart, ground combat unit type legend, and the marker legend. And we'll take a look at the counter sheets that come with the game. We have U.S. forces on the left, including U.S. Air. On the right-hand side, we have the People's Asian Alliance, Communist Naval, and Communist Air Forces. These are double-sided counters. And on the second sheet, we have the Organization for Central American States and Warsaw Pact forces, as well as various administrative counters, including nuclear, biological, and chemical weapons, which will be in use in the game. And we'll take a look at the rules. It is a 16-page rulebook. Starts off with the introduction and then an explanation of all the game components, game scale, and then the preparation for play. Then we have the sequence of play all listed out for you. The basic game rules start on page 2. They go from 2 to 8, and primarily in the basic game, you're going to be covering just ground warfare. There is a touch of naval and amphibious landings, things like that, but that is really saved for the advanced game rules, and that's where you really get into the air and the naval aspects of the game more deeply. And then you also add an NBC and other optional rules that you can play with to explore further. And we have reinforcements, explain to you movement, naval movement, you have your sea transport, amphibious assaults, stacking, and in this game, stacking is determined by unit size, not by unit count, so that's something to bear in mind. Supply, zones of control, combat explained to you, and then all the terrain effects on combat, retreats, basic game special units, you have air assault, artillery, engineers, artillery support bombardments, hovercrafts, militias, mountain rangers, and then ending the game here. And then we start with the advanced game rules on page 9. There you get into your air power for air movement, air zones of control, interdiction of zones of control, air missions, air combat, NBC attacks, recovery. And then we get into naval units, and that carries over to the advanced game special units, where we have cruise missiles, laser defenses, political units, counterinsurgency, anti-partisan, inspiration, and then we get to NBC warfare, procedures on using nuclear, biological, and chemical weapons, and then nuclear escalation, which is actually pretty interesting. Either player can attack with NBC weapons. When you conduct your first strike, it's only going to be on 1 hex. The next player will be on 2 hexes. The next player after that will be on 4, and then 8. It gets exponentially more damaging the further you go with using these weapons of mass destruction. Then we have the designer's notes and the scenarios. Asian invasion, remember the Alamo, it lists out all of the units and where they will start. And then we have Southern discomfort and then the game credits at the back of the rulebook. And that is a look at everything you get inside of Live Free or Die, 3 Battles for America, a game designed by Kerry Anderson and published by Microgame Design Group. I've already covered several of Kerry's games on the channel. I've enjoyed them. I've really had a lot of fun with them, and Live Free or Die was on my radar. I just didn't pull the trigger until just recently, and couldn't pass it up. You've got alternate history, invasions of the United States, West Coast, East Coast, the South. The only thing missing, and I'm surprised Kerry didn't do this because he's from Canada, is an invasion from Canada. I think that would be kind of funny to do maybe in the future, but I think this is going to be real interesting to play because it's not a deep rule set, but it looks like it's got enough strategy there and enough layers and chrome to keep you interested and busy the entire time. The maps are not gigantic, so the action is going to be pretty fast because you're not going to have to traipse across a large distance to get into combat. You're going to be basically right there, as you can see, like here in the West Coast. You're going to be going through LA, and that's going to pose a whole bunch of challenges because it's all urban, and I'm really excited to get these games on the table and give them a whirl. Well, I hope that helps you guys out if you've been curious about this one. If you have any comments or questions, post them down below. Thanks for tuning in, guys. See you next time.